everybody. Here we are in TJ this morning. It's been raining. You can see here on the screen that they're at their, fabricated shelter. They're pretty much soaked. It was super rainy yesterday. I got out in it for just a minute to go to the store, but these issues are still prevalent. I haven't had an opportunity to make my videos. You know what I'm saying? So, I wanted to go ahead and, let everyone know that I'm still on the move with the protection of the Innocence Team, placement of the Innocence Project, and the number one Innocence Association. Now, what we're going to talk about this morning is about the placement of the Innocence Project once again, because as you know, there are, politicians still being prosecuted for crimes of stealing money and this and that. And I want everyone to know that a new law was passed recently that all charitable contributions can be written off as tax write-offs. So, and we do have 501c3 partnerships with the number one Innocence Association in providing those certificates for those that give. Once you give, if you give to the GoFundMe account with your information that you provide on those capture pages with your email and everything, we will respond with your 501c3 within 30 days. That is a guarantee. Also, you know, um, with these situations, we have the National Human Rights Commission of Mexico providing services for these individuals here to move into another shelter that at least has the basic necessities of survival. And that's very basic. I spoke with a young lady yesterday who said that that these migrants don't need America's assistance or America should not help them. Remember that we all are migrants to America at one point. Just keep that in mind. Also, this problem at our doorstep is going to be, even further affecting our lives unless we contribute to the solution. And as you can see, today's downpour turned Tijuana's outdoor migrant shelter into a mud pile. And by nightfall, officials began transporting hundreds of people on buses to a facility 11 miles farther away from the border, because the conditions there were steadily worsening over the past few weeks at the overcrowded shelter at Benito Juarez Sports Complex. And if you've been paying attention to the videos that I've been posting and the videos that we've been sharing from Blanco Negro, porque if you haven't paid attention to Blanco Negro, go ahead and follow Blanco Negro, follow me so you guys can get those videos. Also, Pushback. We definitely want to partner with Pushback for these projects because as you can see, the commission representative told the migrants that going to the new shelter was voluntary, but that the accommodations there would be under a roof instead of outside, and they would have electricity and would be able to come and go without restriction. Now, the reason they say that is because they have, literally almost 100 officers. They're in that little area there, here in Zona Norte where my apartment is. And so, these guys, they somewhat come and go, but they do have them cordoned off. So if any type of situation occurs, that they'll be able to respond quickly. And these guys also need assistance. The non-lethal officers of the protection of the Innocence Team would be able to assist with controlling those areas, cordoning off areas, and assisting migrants in locations across the world at these borders with the basic social services needed to be productive citizens. And that's one of the reasons we wanted to go ahead and make this video this morning, because as you know, if you've been paying attention, we have job opportunities. You can work from home. These are 1099 positions. So, there is a small base and there is commissions available. You can work from your cell phone. If you're interested, remember that the revenues generated from this company goes towards the protection of the Innocence Team and the placement of the Innocence Project. Those that are in America thinking, possibly questioning why do it here when we have that same issue at home. And it is a combination of the community relationship bond between these different communities and assisting is that's going to give us the things that we need to be successful and grow into a world organization. So just keep in mind that, we have the job placement opportunity for these individuals. Mexican officials have said over and over again that there are employment opportunities. So we want the funds to be able to get together with these organizations and um, provide the necessary transportation and assistance for these individuals to get that work visa and be able to look gain obtain gainful employment. And that assistance is just me being out there, getting on the phone, talking to people, making contracts for few workers here or there in a labor ready type situation. We are going to provide a basic business plan to these organizations here in Mexico and see if we can gather funds. But it would be great to get you guys to support that cause. Also, we will provide a steady flow of quality workers for employment as well as career solidification. And this isn't just for these migrants, because there are unemployed individuals globally that could use, assistance in employment. But there are also those in the United States of America. Now, this temporary telemarketing from home situation does pay a base income, but we will have hourly positions available just shortly. And if you want to work for a company that, is honest and is actually taking the funds that we're acquiring to assist individuals in protection of their human rights, we definitely want you guys aboard. If you read the information, you'll see that these individuals can take on trucking jobs, something an industry that I'm familiar with, and other lifetime positions in electric vehicle technology and information technology. And its partnerships with vocational rehabilitation organizations in the United States with the ability to educate these individuals along with the companies and schools here that will be able to provide the education necessary for these guys to obtain gainful employment. With me being here hands on and organizing these things, this thing is it's going to happen, whether you assist or not. But we definitely need your assistance. We absolutely need the people's support as we move to take this movement of the placement of the Innocence Project, not only here in Tijuana, but Texas and Arizona, New Mexico, there in Mexicali, and over to the east. Now, there may be, you know, uh, um, an opportunity to implement, the protection of the Innocence Team along our borders with these encampments. And these are non-lethal association officers with K9s that are trained to detain and to cordon off areas when there's dangerous situations and to prevent loss of life. And this organization would work directly with law enforcement without contract necessarily as an off branch of the Justice Department. These citizen officers would have the ability to, assist when a situation such as what occurred this week with the migrants rushing the border, where there wouldn't be a violent confrontation, children necessarily getting gassed and things like that. As you can see here, 3 killed in the crash after the truck flees the U.S. Border Patrol agents. 8 others in the pickup injured after a high-speed chase on I-8 ends near the boulevard. This is a highly populated area that this occurred just across the border, and this just shows the dangerous situations that we're in today, here in California. But this is a worldwide problem. If everybody's been paying attention to what's going on there in Israel with the Palestinians, the border issues are a very serious issue. From the migrants being denied landing there in the Greece port. They're in Greece, and and another country having to step in and allow those individuals to land, with many losses of lives in that time passing. This organization can provide a platform that these individuals can land, go to a location that they'll have the basic necessities. Here in Tijuana, the problem with them using the restroom and various other problems, with them being able to wash their hands and keep clean. They have a lice infestation, and there are many ailments. There's a woman here, if I recall, her daughter has cancer. So we've reached out to organizations, and going to continue to reach out to them, time permits, that we can get assistance for these individuals here. The reason they're trying to go there is because they need assistance, and you don't want them there, but you don't want to give them assistance. So, and that's a multiple head issue. But at some point, us as a society and community must take responsibility for our communities and our fellow brothers. So, moving on, when these individuals take on these trucking jobs, we'll be exploring needs after initial completion of recovery treatment. As you know, these individuals have been through many life structure changes. So we want to definitely have AA, NA. We want to have counselors, associations available for them. And these organizations are already here, just not necessarily with the resources and the networking capabilities to partner with the United States' organizations to get the material that they need and other educational resources to be able to provide these services for these individuals so they can, move forward and create a productive life. And with that said, that's what the placement of the Innocence Project aims to do. The provision for initial intake at a dorm encampment near the miniature home encampment, which is only available upon completion. So these individuals are already moving to these shelters and this and that. So this association will not only partner with those shelters to be able to help provide services, but we would like to create a new location for individuals that are moving forward and got a job, or those families with children, so they're not out there getting gas when people are rushing the border. They're out in the elements with their children. Minimum food. There is, they only had 2 days of food. That was yesterday. So we have 1 day of food. So, if you guys want to donate food, you can always donate that food. I'm going to put the address down on the comments in this video. We'll also share the link for you to link up with the GoFundMe account and donate, even if it's $5. I would love to be able to sit here all day, send you a text message so you can get the link and all of those things. But we don't really have the help like that. So when you see the link, please respond to the link. If you have comments about what we're saying, then respond so that way we can share your comments. We can have a discussion about this situation. But most importantly, I want to discuss solutions because I've heard a lot of ramble about what the problem is, what we don't like, what you don't want, and not really much about what the solution is. And at the end of the conversation yesterday with the young lady who turned out to be an immigrant herself, who felt like immigration was the wrong thing for the United States, she did mention that she felt like the United States are supporting this, but they don't realize that Mexico's footing the bill almost fully by themselves. So, and hey, here's the thing: we could say it's because of this, or they should do this, or they should do that. But what we want to talk about is solutions. So remember, JP Country, the #1 Innocence Association, is out here, and we're talking about solutions. Now, as we wrap this thing up, before we move on to the final section of this video, which is going to be about, pharmaceuticals. We definitely want to talk about the ex-director of the Veterans Charity convicted on fraud charges. Okay. Former Republican Hunter co-founded Armed Forces Foundation. These people have been stealing thousands of dollars, and they're doing it nationwide. Don't think this is an isolated incident. If you do, then you are very confused. This is a global mass-scale political movement to defraud the citizens of their funds. So I advise you to consider putting your funds as your taxes as charitable contributions to solve these social issues, so that we can definitely protect our environments. And speaking of environments, we have the climate change team, the protection of our innocent planet coming up. So you guys stay tuned for that. But as we read on, we know that Patricia Driscoll, shown in 2008, resigned as president of the Armed Forces Foundation in 2015. That the misused funds intended for nonprofit. So, they'll tell you they're going to get this money and they're going to do whatever they're going to say they're going to do. They, in the city of San Diego, they've been getting $288 million a year for the last 4 years. And there's been things done, but little towards solutions, just temporary fixes. So what we're talking about is permanent solutions. These permanent solutions can lead these individuals to working properties, veterans especially here in Mexico. Take the money that you're getting monthly and purchase you a home in a gated community here in Mexico. Look, I don't know what they've told you. I don't know what you believe, but the opportunity is available. And that particular investment is not only going to sustain you for long term, because you'd like to pretend that they say that you have to get a 99-year lease. Well, I mean, that's basically all you have there in the United States, because you're going to continue to pay property taxes on that property for the remainder of your life, as long as you are on that property. That tells you something. So we don't want to put that out there, but I advise you guys to go read the law. Just recently there in San Diego, there was a young older gentleman had a home at a catty corner. It was like in the middle of an island home kind of, and it was a nice little quaint home, but they wanted it for a fire department, and guess what? They took it. So keep that in mind. You know what I mean? This opportunity is available. These people have been stealing money. We want you to remember that these people are stealing money when you're going up there to vote. So even when you're going to vote, remember who you're voting for. He may not be doing all things, but whatever the case may be, remember that these people are here in need, and these people are going to jail. The political people that we entrust these funds to are taking that money for their own gain. Patricia Driscoll used her funds to file a complaint on Kurt Busch, one of my favorite drivers of NASCAR. That's my guy. They filed a complaint against him for domestic violence. But the whole thing is the complaint was invalid, something they do all the time, but they ended up suspending him until the validity of the accusation was, eventually revealed. Luckily, he was able to get an investigation. 80% of individuals incarcerated don't even get an investigation. They just pocket the funds. Y'all need to keep in mind, this is about money. And so with that said, we're going to go on and, move on into, the situation when it comes to the pharmaceuticals, because many thousands of people are losing their lives over these pharmaceutical situations. The pharmaceuticals are making billions of dollars off of the backs of American citizens, off of the backs of world citizens. And the fight is really, The competition is there. People are dying on prescription pills, over the counter drugs. That's how they're losing their life. They're losing their life on over the counter drugs. Life expectancy in the United States declined again in 2017. This has been a steady decline for suicide and drug overdoses, and suicide by gun. That's the biggest thing. And those manufacturers, the NRA, the pharmaceutical companies have been feeding this poison into our communities. I remember, from Sadie Hook to Columbine to what went on in Parkland just recently. The situation in Alabama, with the man with a gun, or just trying to lie, just trying to live. If I had a gun, I might have pulled mine. I don't know. I mean, we as an African American, though, you don't have a right to defend yourself, and so that's a problem. You know what I mean? Regardless of whatever the law may say, the law is irrelevant at this moment. Perception is everything. And you have to remember that. They use that to the fullest. That's how they got your son, your uncle, your brother, or somebody incarcerated in your life right now, whether you're white, black, Jew, or Gentile. Somebody has been affected by the criminal justice system in a horrible way, and there's no justice in it. That page probably wouldn't load because I've been sitting on here for a minute. But I do encourage you guys to read this information. I'm sure that you can find it also in the Wall Street Journal. But the San Diego, UT San Diego is one of my favorite papers. Very, very informative. But these lawyers, they lie, they cheat, and they steal, and they'll make a deal on your behalf. You know what I mean? And get away with it. You know what I mean? And so we need to step up, man. So I'm going to go ahead and put this link. I'm going to go ahead and share this video. Remember, the protection of the Innocence team, placement of the Innocence Project is a solution to this situation, more so than any other solution that I've heard. I'm sharing this information as much as I possibly can. I've spent an extra 40 minutes this morning sharing this information. So I'm going to go ahead and close this here. We're going to shoot the link on the comments. I need you to hit that link. To give $1. I can't touch it until it reaches 5,000, and every cent that's coming out of that 5,000 will be accounted for via video, and the receipt will be up. We need water. I'm gonna also put the video down. The address in the comments also, so that if you want to donate clothes, you want to donate water, you want to donate blankets, pillows, you want to donate anything that you feel like that may help these individuals, just remember that there is a storage situation. So we don't want any produce. We don't want anything that's going to mildew or go bad. We definitely want these things boxed up and handled appropriately. Underwear, old clothes, things like that. You go ahead and look on the comments. You'll get the address, and just go ahead, send a message that you will be sending such and such items to this address, and then and go ahead and ship it out. I will receive it. When it's received, I will let you know via video, and I will let you know who this item came from, and we will probably do a video when we hand those items out. So, click on the links, click on the comments. We out here, JP Country, the #1 Innocence Association. We're here, and we're fighting for you.